Check, 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 check.
Here, let me do it on here. Go ahead.
Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check.
Here, let me do it on here. Go ahead.
Check, check, check.
I can hear it on there.
So everybody's hearing our conversation?
Well, alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Season 2 of ABQ Sports Crew live here on YouTube. It has been 7 long months since we've been on here. We are super excited to be back. It's been way too long. I think our last episode ended very shortly because we were watching the AFC Championship game. And then Adam's computer started...
It freaked out. And just a heads up, guys, I promise you we will have technical difficulties tonight. Every year, every time that heck, not even every year, every week, there was something new that we encountered. We're working with a lot of new audio gear, so hopefully it sounds good. Give us a thumbs up in the comments down below if it does. I'm watching it live. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. We're back, guys.
It's been 7 months,
It's been 7 long months. It's good to be back and talking sports again.
Well, the reason why we're back is because we decided as a group that NFL season is probably our busiest time, and it's the most intriguing to you guys as well. So we are going to be only coming back during football season, and then during the off season we'll have some other media for you guys. But in the meantime, we're back. I am Joshua Creo. To my right is Adam Nish.
Hello.
And Elijah Esquivel. We are the longtime members of ABQ Sports Crew. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, we posted on Facebook that if we get more than 25 viewers, we are giving away an NFL goodie bag to one of you lucky fans. So make sure that you're sharing this right now. You guys are telling your friends, hey, to jump on. That way you guys have a chance to win NFL goodie bag.
You know what I noticed right away is that the Sports Crew shirts are fitting a little tighter this year, and I haven't gone to the gym. So what does that mean?
Elijah doesn't give any.
I'm going to say that they're shrinking. It's not getting fatter.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We are talking the whole entire AFC conference. We'll be breaking down the West, the North, the South, the East, giving you our predictions on who we think is going to win. We'll also be talking some fantasy football, so if you guys are getting ready to start your leagues, we'll give you guys some advice on who to pick, who we think are going to be some of your favorites. We're also going to be talking a new subject. There is something going on in Albuquerque that is just blowing up, even all over the soccer world. And lost my train of thought, but we are going to be talking the New Mexico United. They are blowing up here in Albuquerque. They are just taking over the world. They were shocking the United States Soccer League with their upset wins over MLS squads. So we'll be talking some New Mexico United soccer as well. And then we have a brand new game for you guys. It's called 5-Second Rule. These guys are going to be, we're going to see how quick they are at thinking, because these two always compete against each other every year.
Compete. I think I've won once, and it was off a fluke.
So a new game for you. And then at the end of the show, we have a thing we call Final Headlines. We give you something in the sports world that you guys should be looking out for, or something that's intrigued us that might intrigue you. So, guys, let's dig into it. It is football season. We are 1 month away from kickoff, the official season start, and I believe it's the Patriots and the Steelers going at it first round.
No, I'm excited for this year. I mean, I think everybody, and I don't care who you are a fan of, every single offseason your team makes moves, and it kind of gets you amped. It gets you excited, and it from different spectrums. It might be, hey, we put together some pieces. It may not be this year, but we're headed in the right direction. It may be, hey, this could be the year we do something special. I know if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, which there's like 3 of you in this state, you're trending in the right direction. So, I mean, let us know who you're representing and who you're how you're feeling about this upcoming season. I know me personally, and we'll get into that a little bit more. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's another year for the Cowboys to finally win this year. And as a Cowboy fan myself, it's going to be the year this year. But yeah, like you were saying, everyone has some new moves. Everyone got some new rookies. Cowboys didn't really get any new first-round picks because we gave ours away for Amari Cooper last year. But everyone, you're just excited, and then you want to see which of the good teams last year, right? What of the Rams, the Patriots, who's going to be good this year, right? Again, because sometimes you have that fall off where a team will advance really far in the playoffs, and the next year just take a complete crap. So
well, we had breaking news today. There is a New England quarterback that has signed a 2-year extension with his team. So we are going to be seeing Tom Brady for 2 more seasons at the most. He'll be playing until the 2021 season. Guys, comment in the comment section. We want to see you guys, who you're repping, who you think is going to win the Super Bowl.
Everybody's excited for this season except for Ezekiel Elliott. I mean,
come on, Zeke. Don't hold out on us, Zeke. We need you.
I mean, we started back in April when we were talking. We saw the draft. We saw the Cardinals do something kind of douchebaggish to the guy they drafted.
Wow, we're like 10 minutes into our very first show of the season, and we already have a douchebag in the talk track.
That's not a bad word.
I mean, we can. Okay.
Anyway, we had Kyler Murray drafted. They traded Josh Rosen away to the Miami Dolphins. So Kyler Murray was the number 1 overall pick. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, let us know in the comments. Remember, if we do hit 25 viewers, not even close right now. We need you guys' help. We're going to give away an NFL goodie bag to one lucky comment.
Hey, you guys did get us towards 100 subscribers, so thank you for that. We are trending in the right direction. What are we at right now? We're
96.
96. So we are 4 away from giving away an NFL jersey. And I know you guys are dying for that Sam Darnold jersey or the Le'Veon Bell in that Jets green. I know you're dying for that.
It's right there.
Of course
you can't see it on the camera, but
I mean, I know you're dying for your gangrene jersey. Let us give it to you.
Okay, so let me give you guys, before we get started.
Oh, we got to come in and say, Mr. Isaiah Trujillo himself. I'm a Cowboys fan, and we're trending in the wrong direction. As a free agent fan, I'm riding with the Dolphins. Fitzmagic, you know I'm a Fitzmagic fan. I love me the Amish rifle. He's a great quarterback. Oh, come on, I'm voting them the worst team in the NFL this year.
I thought we talked about we're going to be on the Browns bandwagon as free agent fans this year.
And John Cornell says, "Go Jets." Oh, okay, I like that.
Is that guy on drugs?
I mean, he said go Jets. That's what I'm reading.
Block him.
Thanks, John.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we got a lot to go over, so we're going to jump right into it. What we do every single year is we give our predictions on who we think is going to win the division. We give you guys records. We'll break down every single team's schedule, and we'll give you guys our picks on who we think is going to be the best in the division. We'll start with the AFC West. We always start East. This time we're going to go different. We're going to go with the AFC West. In that division, you have the Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, and the Raiders. So let's start alphabetical order, okay? Alphabetical order. I have the Denver Broncos first.
Weird! Shocker! Are you shocked, Elijah?
Wow. No bias in that one.
Wow.
The Broncos really first?
Whoa!
No, that's the first. No, the first one.
Oh my God, Josh. Go ahead,
I
Josh.
said alphabetical order.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, convenient.
Maybe if you went and had those 10 beers last night.
Hey, John Cornell says Chargers win the AFC West. We'll cover that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we'll start it off. Last year, Broncos had a miserable season. For those of you that don't know, check out our YouTube video of how I embarrassed myself on Coors Montano here in Albuquerque. So they start this year with the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. They face the Chicago Bears next. Then they got at Green Bay Packers, home against Jacksonville, at the Chargers, home against the Titans, home against Kansas City, at the Colts, home against the Browns. Then they're on man, would you shut up? We're on a bye week. At Minnesota, at Buffalo, versus the Chargers, at Houston, at Kansas City, and then we end the year versus the Lions and the Oakland Raiders.
And that's when they'll start looking into the first draft pick of the next year as well.
Good God. The Broncos are so
Broncos
trash.
have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
Hey, John Cornell says, what, the Broncos? How? Quit smoking that New Mexico hash. Oh my
I didn't say the Broncos were winning the division. These guys are just thinking that action.
Do you have them going? You probably have them going, what, 8-8?
I haven't written down my prediction yet. I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Try to copy.
We'll go down the line here. I mean, if you want the bare truth here. So first, everyone's saying, oh, I mean, you guys don't have Kareem Hunt, you're falling back and all that. The Chiefs are still, and I know the Chargers are up
How
there.
do we go from the
We'll talk
Broncos to
about
the
them.
Chiefs?
I thought we were going down our AFC East.
No, we're
AFC
we're
West.
talking Broncos
Oh,
first.
Broncos? All right, we'll talk Broncos.
We're having a whole segment on the
Listen,
Broncos.
Seriously, you know, there's 16 teams
God,
in this.
you guys have so much off and your brains have turned to mush.
Let's go through, how about we just go through the AFC West?
Well, that's what we're doing. We're starting with the Broncos first.
Are you lost?
So we're gonna do one
Yeah, we're
analysis for every single team.
yeah, we're giving away the schedules real quick, and then
Oh
we'll.
my god.
That's why we're just picking. So
No,
I
but
gave you guys
how
the
much
schedule.
time do
I
we
need your
have
picks.
here?
I need your picks. That's
Okay.
how hard is that?
16.
So, Broncos, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give them an 8-8 just because I know they're going to win some of their home games and they might sneak 1 or 2 on the road. But 8-8 is generous. And I do mean generous because I don't see Flacco being the starting quarterback at the end of this season. I feel like he's going to get pulled. Jake Locke, who's had the worst footwork of any quarterback I've seen coming out of college into the NFL during that first preseason game.
What'd you call?
Garbage.
Did you call him Jake Locke?
Oh my God.
It's Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Excuse me. But no, that footwork was just god awful. Late releases, and I know he's got a lot to learn, but he'll be the starting quarterback probably by week 5 or 6, I want to say. Broncos don't stand a prayer at making the postseason this year. I'm being generous with 8-8.
I'm going 8-8 as well. We do, like I said, have one of the toughest schedules in the NFL. I like Phillip Lindsay being a very big contender. I think he's going to be one of the best running backs in the league. He was last year, averaging 5 yards a carry. Then he just got hurt towards the end of the year, but I think he's going to be a big factor for us. Our receiver core is just one of the. I think it's dreadful. I don't know. Emmanuel Sanders is pretty much the only guy we have that I can put a name on. Pretty much, I know we have Sutton, but we just have a lot of young guys that I don't think have the experience. So I'm going to give the Broncos 8-8 this year as well.
And from the comment section, Izzy says the coolest part of the Broncos is Phillip Lindsay still living in his parents' basement. Humble man. I didn't know that. Is that true?
I think Izzy's just.
No, that's cool. If it is, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give them 6 and 10. Just reading off the schedule there. I mean, I think even getting 6 wins is going to be a miracle for you all. You all know my feelings of Joe Flacco. I think he's always been one of the trashiest quarterbacks in the league, and I think what makes it worse is he thinks that he, at least at the time, was an elite quarterback. But going to sorry quarterback going to a sorry team. They'll be lucky if they get 6 wins, especially in that division. That's going to be a tough division.
He already had his biggest win in Denver.
All right, next team.
And
is
we got to hurry along through these. We got a lot of teams to get
Kansas
through.
City Chiefs. They got at Jacksonville, at Oakland, Baltimore, at Detroit, Indianapolis, Houston, at Denver, home against Green Bay and Minnesota, at Tennessee, home against the Chargers, bye week, at the Raiders, or home against the Raiders, at New England, home against Denver, at Chicago, and then home against the Chargers at the end of the year.
And real quick sneak peek at the comments here. We've got John saying, I think Joe Flacco will surprise a lot of people. Surprise how bad he is, maybe. It was, Izzy said he was on 30 for 30 living in the basement, so that's cool. In fact, I didn't know. And Lil Nish, that's my little brother Greg, says Elway would sign a mop if it was 7 feet tall. I like that. That's solid.
Shout out to Izzy for the 30 for 30s, man.
He's on those. He's on those.
Continuing here, we got to move on.
All right, let's keep going.
Kansas City Chiefs, defending AFC West champions.
And they're going to protect that title. They're going to go 12-4. I know the Chargers are up and coming, and we'll get to them. But based off that schedule, I think there's a lot of winnable games. The toughest games are against AFC West. Seems like they've got to face the Chargers twice. That's going to be very difficult. Outside of that, they defend their home turf. They play well on the road. Tyreek, as terrible of a human being as I personally think he is, he's still an absolute animal. And I'm throwing this out here right now. Travis Kelce will be, blowing it up for fantasy football. Absolutely blowing it up. So look for him. We'll get fantasy. But yeah, 12-4 for Kansas City.
I'm actually going to agree with you, 12-4, and I think, like you said, you have to play against the Chargers twice, so I think there's probably going to be at least one loss in there. Raiders, Broncos, and garbage. Those are easy wins. I think I heard you mention New England is on that list as well. That's going to be a good game to see because, again, that was Mahomes had trouble against New England. That was kind of his Achilles heel last year. But I think Patrick Goat Holmes is going to have an MVP season. He was so fun to watch last year. I really enjoyed it. And I don't think he's going to be as dominant because now people have more film on him, so they can kind of at least do a little bit of research on him rather than him being really, really fresh last year. But I still think he's going to have just a great season. He's so fun to watch. And that team is just a really good team.
I agree. I'm gonna say that he picks up where he left off. He's already making throws in practice. They're just how quarterbacks are even going. How does he even do that? He was ranked number 4 on the top 100 list. I think he's got the skill to be one of the elites going into the future. We'll see, though. I mean, I hope he doesn't hit that. We were talking before the show, the sophomore slump. Something happens, and he is on the Madden cover. So fingers crossed that nothing does happen to him. But I think Kansas City is the strongest team in this division.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have them at 11-5 just because of the difficult schedule. They got to play the NFC North this year as well. I have them at 11-5 winning the division.
Well, and tell me if you guys are opposed to this, but we are 20 minutes in, and we are through 2 teams in one of the 4 divisions. We gotta get on through this a little bit. So let's go ahead and list off the other 2 that we have in the AFC West, and just kind of a quick reason why. And I say going forward, let's just kind of list through our divisional teams and the reasons why. I'm going to go with the Chargers coming in second, and they are still going to make the playoffs at 11-5. That is a great team. That is an up-and-coming team. Now, this is contingent on Melvin Gordon coming around. They don't do the same. They aren't the same caliber team without Melvin Gordon. He's having his contract disputes, which a lot of this, honestly, it was brought on by Le'Veon Bell. He's kind of paved the way for this kind of behavior. And without Melvin Gordon, that's not the same team. So pending that signing, they go 11-5.
I'm going to say 11-5 too. I mean, Keenan Allen's going to have another huge year, I think. And if we're just kind of going down the list, I'm going to say Oakland's actually going to be 5-11. I don't really see them being very good this year, regardless of having Antonio Brown and Derek Carr. I mean, that's going to be huge, but I still don't think they're good. I mean, they're in a tough division. You know, maybe if they were in another easier division, it's just going to be tough for them. And people are always watching to see how John Gruden can mess things up, and because he gave up pretty much, everything last year, right? So we'll see. So I'm gonna 11-5 for the Chargers, 5-11 for Oakland.
And I've got 7-9 for Oakland. I didn't list mine. So go ahead.
I got the Chargers at 10-6 going in the second place in that division, and the Oakland Raiders at 4-12. I don't think. I'm
not mad at that.
They got rid of Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
They
got Antonio Brown, so you can't really count that. But
I don't think he's going to be that much big of a factor. They don't have a running game.
Antonio Brown's dope.
He's going to be their biggest factor.
He'll be their only factor.
Yeah.
Which is an issue.
It is, because they don't have no running game. Who do they have as running back? Marshawn Lynch is gone. So
let's check out these comments real quick. With or without Melvin, Chargers will win the AFC West. So that's bold. We'll see. It's quite obvious the Chargers are content without giving Melvin a big contract right now. They're confident with what they have. Well, they're not all the New England Patriots and can sign people straight out of Walmart and win Super Bowls. Not that hard to do, but yeah, they will.
Reading rumors that the Texans are interested in Melvin Gordon.
Who wouldn't be? I'm interested in Melvin.
All right, next up is the NFC North.
That came out kind of.
In the NFC North, we got the Browns, Bengals. We got the Browns, Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers. We'll start with the Cleveland Browns.
Interesting.
This is probably the best.
We're going to go down the list.
Yeah, this is probably the best team in the division, I think. They got some great additions during the offseason. I never thought I'd say that this is probably the best team in this division, but with the talent they have on their side of the ball, I'm giving the Cleveland Browns the division win at 10-6.
You're not going to go down the list, or?
Oh, sure, you want all of them? The Cincinnati Bengals are the worst, in my opinion, in this division. Andy Dalton is done. I don't think he'll be starting at the end of the year. I just don't see enough talent on that team to make sure that this is another Bengals team that we saw going in the playoffs and then disappear first round. I have them at 5-11. And then the Ravens, they got some additions on defense. It's going to be a fight for second place, in my opinion. I have the Ravens at 9-7, and then I also have the Steelers at 9-7 as well.
No, the okay button.
I'll go next. I'm going to say Cleveland's going to do 11-5. I think there's just so much excitement for that team and that city right now, and I think those home games are going to be pretty rowdy because everyone's excited because of what happened last year, getting some wins last year under their belt, and now all the offseason acquisitions they have. I think that's going to be an exciting team. I think this is going to be first time they're going to win this division in a long time, and I think there's going to be a lot of excitement going on. I also have the Bengals 5-11, so 11-5 for Cleveland, 5-11 for the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals are just the Bengals. I don't really know what they can do at this point. Pittsburgh, I think. They're still good. They lost Antonio Brown, but you're going to have Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be a big part in the offense, and I think who knows? People say things like having a together locker room maybe can go a little bit farther because everyone knows that they had some of the best talent the last few years and nobody got along with each other, and maybe that's why they never reached the Super Bowl in the last 3-4 years with all that talent. I'm having them win 10-6, and then 8-8 for the Ravens. I think Jackson's going to have another Jackson, right?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. There you go. He's gonna have another pretty good. Because he's good, but they're just gonna have to kind of rebuild with him.
He's an awesome running back
at the focal point. Yeah. So 8-8 is what I'm gonna have as the Baltimore Ravens.
And here's a shocker. Long-time listener John Cornell, I see you in the comments there. We're gonna agree on something. We're about to agree. This is weird. The Cleveland Browns do not make the playoffs, and it is by the skin of their teeth. I'll give you my breakdown here. We're going to start with the Steelers. Steelers win the division still. I have them going 11-5, if not 10-6. It's going to be close, but I still see them having that talent. Antonio Brown was a huge playmaker, but Juju can make a lot of those plays. They can build a scheme around him. You've got a phenomenal running back, a grade A quarterback, and a solid defense still. That is a team that can win the division as long as they can get the chemistry in play. I still see them being able to do that. In second place, I do have the dog pound. I've got Cleveland Browns coming in at 9-6, just missing out on the playoffs.
9-6.
They're saying, yeah.
They're only playing 15 games this year.
Or not? I'm sorry, 9-7. But they're a team that is up and coming. You cannot be mad at 9-7 for the Cleveland Browns, who just recently went on 16. You're setting the bar up here. You got to pace yourselves. This is a young quarterback, a developing team. Yes, they have talent. They have OBJ. They have Joku. They have so many players that can make plays, but they have to find that chemistry. They have to build. They're not there yet, but they're headed in the right direction. So don't be mad, Cleveland. And then I do have the Ravens at 6-10, just because they've got a running back, a quarterback. And then the Bengals are the Bungles, 5-11.
Anyone see Baker slam that beer?
Oh, with his teeth first?
Way better than the overrated Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers?
Who can't even drink a beer, or he's a sorry quarterback, too.
See, John said could be the Achilles heel is their egos in the locker room. I think they fixed a lot of that. And then Greg says Steelers know how to operate and will still be hard contenders. That's the thing, I agree. Perennial contenders know how to compete. You don't have a ton of talent a lot of times in New England. What does New England do? They win. They know how.
Okay. Starting with the next one is the AFC South. You got the Colts, Jaguars, Texans, and Titans. Colts, remember how bad they started last year and how well they ended? I think they win this division again. Andrew Luck is just the right man for the job in that city. Depends on if he stays healthy or not. Hopefully that shoulder holds up for him. And
the neck?
Yeah, I have them going 11-5 this year, winning the division. The next one is the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's rough to say. They got Nick Foles now as a quarterback. They got rid of Blake Bortles now in LA with the Rams. I think that Nick Foles is going to be a big help, but the one thing is who they have on the offense side of the ball to help him out. Who's going to step up? Defense, I'm not too worried about that. Except for Jalen Ramsey. Is he going to be somebody of a support group, or is he going to be one of those guys that gets traded mid-season? We'll see. The Jaguars, I
can't stand him, dude.
I have the Jaguars at 8-8 this year. The Texans is going to be another one. Deshaun Watson got to the playoffs again, but we're tired of the Texans doing so well and then just disappearing when it comes to the playoffs. Is this going to be another year that they do the same thing?
Go like my play.
Everybody, the Texans the last few years have been a team making the playoffs, and nobody has them advancing, right? It's like they can have an undefeated season, and everyone's gonna be like, I don't take the Texans serious, and that's.
And here's the issue with the Texans. A lot of people don't realize it. They had literally the easiest schedule in the entire NFL last season.
And that's why I'm going to give them. This year I'm going to give them a 9-7, but missing.
That's generous.
Missing the playoffs. The Titans. This is another team that's just. You don't know who they're going to be. One week they're going to be great, and then the next week they're going to be just they fall out on their face. I don't know what to give as a prediction. It was really tough coming up with mine. I also gave them I gave them a 7-9. I think they're going to be the weakest in the division, just because you don't know which team is going to show up. Last year they would beat the best but lose to the worst.
I got to throw out a comment. John says I have been waiting 20 years to hear Adam admit that about the Patriots. I said they know how to win. I didn't say they do it ethically. Okay, let's keep that on record.
There's my pick. Elijah.
I'm going to have New England going 10-6. Or I'm sorry, New England. Indianapolis going 10-6.
All right.
No. 16-0 for New England. 10-6 for Indianapolis. I think they're going to have a solid season. They're going to be the only team in this division making the playoffs. None of these teams are going to make the wild card.
I like that.
Well, you always fake it. I'm not going to use knuckles now. I'm going to have Jacksonville going. I'm going to probably I'll be generous. I'm going to give them a 7-9. I think they had a pretty decent team, and Josh Blakey was always kind of the Achilles heel.
Even with Foles?
He was, and Foles is good, right? I mean, he's good, but anything's better than Bortles, right? Good Lord, that guy was trash, man. And Josh is still going to draft him first this year.
He will, too.
And then I'm going to have Houston going to 8-8 just because it's Houston. Again, I don't care. Well, I'm sure J.J. Watt's probably going to get injured again this year and be out for 4 or 5 games. He seems like he's injured every year. And then Tennessee, I'm going to have them going 5-11. They're going to be the weakest team in this division, and I don't really see them really being a threat.
There's just no effort in Tennessee. There's no effort to be better. There's no. I mean, I'm sure if you're a fan there, you're frustrated with it. But come on, do something. Make some off-season moves. I'd like to see them be relevant again because they were once upon a time.
Yes.
Your turn.
All right. Didn't mean to cut you off there. So I'm going to agree with you. The only team making the playoffs, and it's going to be a wild card, is going to be or not a wild card because they win the division. Never mind. Let's think that through. The Colts win the division at 10-6. Had they not won the division, they'd sneak in as wild card. But they're just good enough. They did win a playoff game last year. They seem to be putting a lot of those pieces together. I haven't seen a ton of offseason movement for them, but they haven't lost a lot of pieces either. So it's a good enough team to make the playoffs at 10-6. Next, you have Jaguars 8-8. They're going to be figuring out the rhythm with a system quarterback in Nick Foles. Yes, and Super Bowl MVP can be a system quarterback. Look at Joe Flacco; he's garbage. And then you move on to the Titans at 6-10. Again, a team that has some talent. They have some pieces to move in the right direction. They just choose not to because winning sucks. And then you have the Texans at 5-11, just because they're the Texans. Because no, you see them sneaking in last year, and you look at their schedule. It was literally a garbage schedule. They played, I think, 2 or 3 teams in the entire season that had a winning record. They didn't beat anybody substantial for the whole season, and the teams they were beating weren't good teams, and they were sneaking by those teams. Except for the Jets, they blew them out. But they were not a great team. So I see them regressing heavily. And I'm sorry to say that because I love DeAndre Hopkins. But 5-11 for the Texans.
Have we realized we do this every year, guys? We pick these teams, and we never pick one to have a tie.
Yeah, that's the
If you can pick a tie, though,
that's
you better go to Vegas.
Yeah. All right, so next one is going to be the AFC East. This is going to be the final one of the AFC. You got the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. I'll start with the Buffalo Bills. I'm not too confident in this team at all. Can you name their guys without them quitting at halftime? I mean, we saw that last year.
Now, don't look at me because I have a completely different take on the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, man, you have them winning a lot of games this year?
They're not a bad team. We'll get there.
I have them at 7-9. I don't see them as a big threat in this division because as long as Tom Brady's in this division, he's always going to be the one to win this division. The Dolphins are the garbage.
Greg says Pat's 16-0. Of course he does.
The Dolphins are the weakest link in this division. They got Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen as quarterback options. I mean, I don't even know who's their running back. Drake?
Is it Kendrick Drake?
Yeah. I mean, he might be the one thing that would be the shining star.
He ain't bad at all.
Their defense is going to be horrendous. I have them at 3-13. The New York Football stinking Jets. We're in the studio covered with this nasty.
If we can flip this camera around, we are in gangrene heaven right now.
Thank God that the camera's facing this way. Just because you guys they added Le'Veon Bell, I don't see them gaining much more victories than they did last year.
CJ Mosley.
They still got
Quentin Williams.
To me, I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. He's not going to make any progression.
Better than Nick's quarterback, that's for sure.
Better than who?
Says the guy with Flacco.
Yeah.
I have the Jets at 6-10 this year. That's your fault for dropping that. And the New England Patriots winning this division at 11-5.
I have the New England Patriots also in this division. Not 16-0, Greg, but I do have them as a 12-4, winning the division.
Josh has the best record in football. Come on.
Miami actually have them going 2-14. I think that they're just. I feel bad for that organization. Those fans.
One win will be against New England. They always seem to pull it off against New England.
That's true. That was the interception, right? The kickoff, or what was it?
It was
something miraculous.
The hook and ladder to Drake, and he scored.
And then I'm gonna have the Bills going 6-10, and then I'm gonna have the New York Jets going 8-8. Solid season as an 8-8.
I respect that. And I'll tell you why. I'm not saying they go 16-0, but I'm not saying they don't. Okay. But
all over your social media pages is 16-0 New York Jets.
Listen, you guys with the Patriots having the best record in football, shut
Not the best record in football.
Get out of here. There's so many better teams. The Saints, the Chiefs. There's so many better teams that are just gonna just sit down.
No Gronk either.
Let me drop some knowledge on you. No Gronk. Get out of here. You got the Bennett brothers. Oh, jeez, get out. No, we're not even starting that. Anyways, let's start at the top. I'll give you credit where credit's due. The Patriots go 12-4. They win the division. I'll give you that much just because Brady's back for a 67th season. I mean, they said he was in Madden on PlayStation 1. Like, he's been around how long. Patriots know how to do it, and until they don't, I'll give you that much because this is football knowledge. This is not just bias. Come on now. So the Patriots go 12-4. In second are the New York Football Jets going 9-7.
By default, not
possibly finding their way into a post. Maybe not. I'll take 9-7. I would even respect 8-8. Simple reason. We only won 5 games last year. We had C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, Quinnen Williams. You stack up around that, and you have a quarterback that's progressing.
Is it Quinnen Williams the guy that blessed himself after he sneezed?
Oh, absolutely, yes. He's a phenomenal player. Still have Leonard Williams on the defensive line.
You know what? I'm gonna take mine at 9-7.
There you go.
I like that guy.
How do you only add 1 win from 5 wins to 6 wins? Adding Le'Veon, adding all those pieces is terrible. The Jets get better 8-7, 9-6. They're getting better.
He did bless himself. I like that guy.
That is a good dude. So I'll give you that. Patriots are winning the division.
Monster.
Jets are getting better. They're coming in second, possibly sneaking into the wild card, possibly not. Bills are going to go 8-8 because they're a solid team. They didn't regress, but they didn't necessarily progress. They have a developing quarterback. They're in the same boat. Jets and Bills are going to be pretty locked up this season. Dolphins are the worst team in football right now. They go 3-13. I'm sure there's some comments after that. Yeah, plus Patriots beat Atlanta in the Super Bowl without Gronk, you fools. Pats will be fine. No. Go ahead. Yeah, that's it. Come on.
That's the AFC breakdown for you guys. Let us know in the comments what you guys have.
John says Pats beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead last yeet. Last yeet.
So going off these predictions real quick, who do you have in the AFC Championship, just real quick?
AFC Championship?
Yep.
I'm going to say Kansas City. And, oh, man.
I got it for you. I'm going to go
Kansas City and Chargers.
There it is. That's exactly what I'll go with. Patriots losing the first round of the playoffs.
I hate to say this, but as long as Tom Brady's in this league and he wins the division, he's going to get a first round bye. It's going to be, I don't think the Patriots, what was it, the first time last year they played on the road since playing Denver in 2015? They're going to get a home game, and they're going to make the AFC Championship.
John, 20-3.
So I'm going to have a repeat of last year's AFC Championship. I'm having Kansas City versus New England. I hope KC does this year. I really do. So that is our breakdown of the AFC. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk some fantasy football because we got to move on to fantasy. We're all going to play in a couple of leagues this year.
Even Jen behind the camera right now running the computer. Yeah, she had a better record than I did last year. So.
And I checked out halfway.
You're not supposed to talk. What do you?
And you try. This year, guys, we have a special edition of the Fantasy Football. The ABQ Sports Crew has challenged the Platform Sports Talk Show.
Make sure you check them out, the Platform Sports Talk. If you go on Facebook, if you go on YouTube, search them. I think they're out of St. Louis, big St. Louis fans. They put on a heck of a show. They do a show out of the Smoke Show. We've called on their show. They've called in on ours. Like they have a fun. I think they're Wednesday nights.
Every Wednesday night, yeah.
Check them out,
big
guys.
St. Louis Rams fans.
That was. I even gave him my first comment this year when football was coming around. I was like, "Hey, have the Rams scored yet?"
I hope they call in because we are challenging them to a fantasy football challenge, and how that's going to work is we're gonna add on a member because Jen is a member of the ABQ Sports Crew, so she's gonna be in this league. It's gonna be our 4 versus I know they have 3 on their show, and they always invite one person to always come on the show. So we challenge you guys to a 4 and 4. We'll put them in divisions because in NFL.com you can put divisions. We'll put ABQ Sports Crew in one division, you guys in the division, and whoever finishes the best.
Oh, no, I'm sure there'll be bets on the line. We'll let you know. But there's a hot take from an Isaiah Trujillo out there in the comments. Dolphins aren't bad. Personal change and Drake with decent wide receivers. Toss up in the East outside of Pats. Broncos easily the worst team in football. Yes, Izzy. Thank you. I'm good with that.
Izzy, no more car rides wherever you need to go. You were looking. You're asking me about
that truth.
Where
Izzy.
to fly?
When you're just, a football guru the way Izzy has been. You know what's funny? If you guys don't know Izzy, he's had some hot takes that we've laughed at, but then they happen. It's weird.
Question is,
He knows his stuff.
Where is Izzy? He was a long time.
Hey, come on by, Izzy.
He was a long time ABQ Sports Crew.
We got fantasy.
We got fantasy football.
All right.
Oh, the water break.
The show brought to you by Gatorade.
Yeah. I didn't know we had drinks.
I like how we have a new soundboard down there, and he's just like setting water by it right away. And
This half hour brought to you by Gatorade.
I mean, the computer did fizzle out on our last show.
Yeah.
So now we're talking fantasy football. We're going to give you guys some of our picks on who you guys think you should pick up, who to stay away from, that kind of thing. Like I said, we are challenging the platform sports talk show, so we'll give you guys updates every week on how we faced off against them and see who's going to come out on top, which I'm saying it's going to be us, guys. We're going to win this. Those guys.
I would hope you're rooting for us.
Right?
Yeah, traitor.
Jeez.
But no, guys, talk about some of the players who people out there, if they're first time ever playing or they're not used to playing fantasy football, let's give them some advice. Let's give them some help on who they should be looking
I just
for.
told them my wife beat me last year, but yeah, I got you. No, it was a fluke season. Cream Hunt.
Don't listen to Adam on who his superstars are going to be, because every year he picks his superstar and they end up getting hurt.
I'll pick someone
How many
else.
3 years in a row you had
it's just
torn
every time.
ACL
It's like
injuries?
Le'Veon Bell. It doesn't play all season. Like,
Didn't he apologize to the fans?
yeah, that's because he's a good dude. You learn ethics when you go to New York Jets. But go ahead.
All right, so guys at quarterback, who should people take and who should they stay away from?
They're killing me in the comments. All right, sorry.
In your opinions, who should people be looking for when they're looking for a quarterback, and who should they stay away from?
Well, I'm always a person that likes drafting a quarterback late, right?
Yeah.
I don't like drafting a quarterback in the first 2-3 rounds. So to me, I think when you try to sneak by, because everybody's going to go after the Drew Breeses and stuff like that, the Aaron Rodgers. I mean, maybe not Brady, but they're going to be going after that. To me, I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a fantasy football. I think he's going to kill it this year in fantasy football, regardless of what their record's going to be. I mean, he has Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham to throw to. They're going to be slinging in Cleveland, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be available in the 5th or 6th round that you can probably just swoop up after you already solidified your receivers and running backs. So Baker Mayfield to me was one that I would look to get a lot of points this year.
And the reason I agree with you on that is if you look at the Cleveland Browns, their offense is a lot better than their defense, in my opinion. And what that means is they might be playing from behind a lot. What do you do when you play from behind? You throw the rock, and you got some great receivers to go to. I like that one a lot. If you're looking at players to find, are you trying to find someone under the radar? Are you trying to find top of the line?
Whatever you want to.
I mean, because the obvious ones are going to get picked. You're going to have your Mahomes. You're going to have your Drew Brees. You're going to have all of those. One that I'm kind of on the fence on to see how he comes back this year. I mean, there's a number of them. I'd stay away from the younger quarterbacks, but a person who typically doesn't go crazy high that I think is going to be slinging it this year is Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers has a phenomenal team around him, especially if you don't have Melvin Gordon. If he's not back, even if he is, those sling passes, they're still counting those yards after catch towards the quarterback. Philip Rivers isn't a bad choice as your top quarterback. If you're going to go heavy on running back or heavy on receiver, don't go quarterback until the 2nd round at earliest, possibly I'd say 3rd round. Pick up Philip Rivers.
A lot of people go for the quarterbacks right away. I mean, they think that they're the lifesavers. But the guy that's always been on my radar, I try and get him every year.
Blake Bortles, we know.
Blake Bortles.
Next.
Blake Bortles, just an up-and-comer.
Guys are mean to me.
Hey, real quick, the comments come first. We got to give John Cornell. He said, I'll give you yours, but John Cornell had a good point. He did do this. I got Mahomes last year in the 9th round. Wrap your mind around the 9th round.
Yeah,
we
but
need to
nobody thought he
draft
was gonna
Mahomes
have
in the
the
2nd or 3rd. Way too much of a sophomore. I like that.
So my pick, I go with him every year. I tend to pick
Blake
him up.
Bortles, okay, we know.
Blake Bortles.
These guys are horrible.
Every freaking year, Blake Bortles, we get it, man.
This guy helps me out in every year because he can run the football and he does throw well, and that is Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson. Every year I pick him up in one of my leagues, at least one of my leagues, and he averages between 25 and 30 points. And that's what you need if you want a decent quarterback in fantasy to stay away from. I'm going to say every time I get him, he doesn't do well for me, and that's Ben Roethlisberger. I do not have any luck with that. He'll have one game where he throws for 5-6 touchdown passes,
and then nothing for
and then
three.
after that. So I say go with Russell Wilson as
You're also a closet
7-8 pick.
Seahawks fan, which I've never understood because they demolished your Broncos in the Super Bowl. But you've always liked the
I
Seahawks.
coached the Seahawks, by the way, 8-9-year-old Division 5 football team. Going to the Super Bowl.
I've never understood that.
No, but I like Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And then I say stay away from Ben Roethlisberger.
Cool. And we're down to like 15 minutes. We got to move along.
We'll talk about running backs and receivers next show.
Okay.
Because we got a hot topic to talk about.
Hot topic.
And that is something that's been
We're
going.
not talking about gauged ears.
Oh my gosh. We're going to a different subject here. We're going to be talking soccer or football, as you guys may call it, but something that's been hitting Albuquerque. As you guys know, we are known as ABQ Sports Crew, so we do have to talk about our local teams. And something that's been big around the city of Albuquerque is the new USL soccer team that's here in Albuquerque, and that is the New Mexico United. What a great season they're having. Their first-year organization. The attendance has been averaging close to 14,000 people a game. They are selling out Isotope Stadium every single game. All three of us have been to multiple games. We were there for both Wednesday's game and last night's game. We fought the rain last night, all of us, except for Adam because he left at halftime.
Boo.
But guys, let's talk some New Mexico United. How do you feel this team is for Albuquerque and what it's doing for the state? Like, let's talk about this and get your guys' feel on this.
I'll turn it over to Elijah just because I am on cloud nine. Obviously, I'm getting a chance to do a lot of the photography on the sidelines and all that, and this city needed a team, especially a good team, and I've got a few thoughts on that. But Elijah has been one of the biggest MLS fans, and I know this is a step lower, but one of the biggest soccer fans I've ever known. So this has to be huge for you.
It's huge, and as a paying fan myself, going to these games, it's very exciting. When they first announced it, right? We had Albuquerque Soul, and they're still around, so go check out their games. I believe they still play at St. Pius, but they were kind of, I would say maybe like a single A equivalent, and it was kind of like that a few years ago. When we were talking about maybe a stadium, maybe something with them, and everyone was really happy. It never really took off because, again, the competition level wasn't very high. And so when they announced that United's going to be in the USL, where you get to, when the people would talk about the players that they're bringing on, it's not like, oh, this guy's an accountant that plays soccer on the side. It's like, no, this is their job. They're going to actually pay. They're going to be on salary, making money, and this is their job. And then you get to see the level of competition. And it's something that, as you mentioned, that Albuquerque needs something like this, right? Unfortunately, there's not a lot going on for us, and usually it's negative news. And so when you have something that can bring the fans together, where you can go to the stadium, to the game, and we're all on the same team, and we're all just, everybody is happy with each other. You're high-fiving people. It's kind of like, you can say with the Lobos, but we don't really get that camaraderie with the Lobos because the Lobos always stink every year. And so it's always kind of tough to do that with the Lobos, and they're kind of the college team or whatever. But when you have a team that's like everybody's a brand new fan, and we're all like OG fans, right? It's not like, Nish just moved into Albuquerque a few years ago, so he's kind of getting used to the Lobos, even though he didn't go to UNM type deal. This is where it's you have it where we all have something in common, and again, the energy of this team and they've been winning, and like you mentioned earlier, and the Lamar Hunt's going pretty farther than, I think there was only one more USL team that made it as far as we did. So we're beating MLS teams and going to watch parties, and I mean the downtown Civic Plaza had I don't know how many people we had there. It was a ton of people that I've never seen. I've been to watch parties before downtown, but just the excitement and how happy everybody is, and everybody wearing their shirts and their jerseys, and the game last night in the rain, and how many people were still there, and it's just been fun. And like Adam said, cloud nine, and I think everybody's on cloud nine. We're all so excited. They're selling out of jerseys, selling out of t-shirts. I've been waiting for a polo for like 3 months now, so please get those in. But it's exciting stuff, and I think we're going to have one more season doing Isotopes, and then hopefully next year they're going to start the stadium, and that's going to be really when we take it to the next step, and hopefully we can get that stadium going.
I think it's cool when you drive around the city of Albuquerque and you see people with stickers and magnets on the car. I mean, I have one on my car, but it's just cool to see it drive around, and you're like, man, we have a team here where everybody's behind. Because in this town, not everyone supports New Mexico athletics, unfortunately. You see some with the UNM stickers on their cars, but to see New Mexico United all over the place. And then these athletes on the field, I mean, some of these guys I think could play MLS.
Some of them were playing MLS.
Yeah,
the goalie was playing for Colorado Rapids.
I think Frater's going to be MLS next year.
You think so?
I think he's going to be gone.
The big thing that I'm loving about it is if you look across the Champions League, the average attendance is 3,000 to 7,000 people. We have yet to have a game, I think, under 12 to 13,000. We're pushing 15,000 on some of these. We are selling out every single game. It's unreal. And last night in the rain, just a ton. The photographer just commented on it. That's funny. But in the rain, It's just packed out. You have smoke bombs going off. You have Chance. You have the Curse, who is their fan club, just getting loud and rowdy. And that ecstatic environment is just, it's palpable. It's unreal. And that's exactly what the city needed, because of a town of conglomerate of close to 1 million people. We're not going to have an NFL team. We're not going to have an NHL team. This might be the closest we get. We do need to pump the brakes. There's an argument going around, well, what about relegation? Will it come? Will we ever make it to the MLS? Be happy with what we have right now. This is the greatest thing we've had. This is a team that our biggest fear right now is they are kicking butt and taking names. They're doing really good and they're winning a lot. This team isn't always going to be a winning team. They're going to have ups. They're going to have downs. How does the Albuquerque fan base react when we're not good?
And just to reiterate, too, this isn't just, I mean, they're located in Albuquerque, but I know the United's going, I mean, it's New Mexico United. So to kind of reiterate that as well, it's big for the city, but it's also big for the state.
Yep.
I have the flag. I fly it every game day, or at least try to fly it every game day in front of my house, and it has all the different cities in New Mexico. And so I think there's just a lot of excitement. And I think eventually, again, if they get the stadium downtown, they can start taking advantage of the rail runner and some of these other things to get some of these people in different cities to come check out the games. But the biggest
thing is, are they going to be like Cowboys and Jets fans and stick it through, or are they going to be like Patriots fans and only hang out when the going is good? Like, that's what I'm curious about.
And being in New Mexico, we've seen what this town can do to teams that lose. The football team is getting absolutely no support right now. Hopefully that doesn't go anywhere, but with minor league professional players like this, you know the rosters are going to change every year. As you were saying, Kevon Frater could step up next year and go MLS.
That's phenomenal.
Santi Moar has a chance of doing that as well. Chris Wehan, I think, is on his
way.
Cody Mizell, I think, is another one that...
He's been MLS.
I think those four, unfortunately, might not be with us next year. I hope they are. I hope at least Wehan, but if they get a better opportunity, they're going to take it. They have to. It's their job, like Elijah said. So if you guys haven't, check it out. New Mexico United, you guys can find them on ESPN Plus whenever they play. They got I forgot who they're playing next week.
Soccer.
Football. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, check them out, guys.
I'm ready for a game.
New Mexico United.
Portland too.
Portland too. Yeah.
How about a game?
Yeah.
I'm ready to redeem myself. I'm ready to start this season, season 2 of ABQ Sports Crew on YouTube with a W. Let's do it.
And I'm going to say it now, guys, before we start the game. If we get 100 subscribers before next show, which is in 2 weeks, we will give away a jersey next show.
We have 2 weeks without a show.
We have 2 weeks without a show.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, so 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 4 weeks. We got 3 weeks, but here's the thing. Once the season starts, we're going to kick it off on our weekly show.
5 weeks.
We have 3 weeks. We have 2 weeks without a show. Then we're going to cover NFC for preseason, because preseason sucks, guys. It just sucks. But then we will be kicking off with our weekly show.
And we will be giving away one lucky fan a brand new NFL jersey of your choice.
Zeke Elliott.
Unfortunately, the ABQ Sports
Crew. I know you want that Sam Darnold. I know you do.
Okay, so this game, guys, is called 5-second rule. What's going to happen? Let's go over the rules, because these guys always complain about the rules and stuff.
The ever-changing rules.
So 5-second rule.
It's just me because I always lose.
I'm going to give them a question. They got to give me 3 answers in 5 seconds. Okay, 3 answers in 5 seconds.
Each?
Yes, you each get a category.
Okay.
I do have a tiebreaker just in case you guys tie, because there's 4 categories. You have to give me their full name. For example, John Elway, something like that. Okay, I don't want Elway. That's not going to. It's going to be an incomplete answer. You do not get the points.
What about John?
No.
What about
JL?
What about Jalway?
Oh no. All right. So determine who's going to go first. Jen, can you think of a number between 1 and 10?
Yes.
Okay, she's got the number. Adam, go ahead.
1.
2.
It was 4.
I was close.
You just did a Price is Right too. All right, Elijah. You pick a category number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
1.
I would have wanted to go second anyways.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Can I choose for a second?
So Elijah's going first. Let me get the clock here.
All right, guys. Pull for me in those comments. Come on. Let's start out with that W.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, even the producer's saying you're not going to win.
It'd be cool if, you were ready.
Yeah.
this
taking more than
dead
5
time is good
seconds.
for YouTube.
Yeah, perfect.
It's
for
exciting.
Radio. Just.
All right, 5 seconds. Category number 1.
Well, you said 30 seconds on there.
Well, I'm just going to... I don't know how to reset this. So 5 seconds. Your category is. The clock starts as soon as I read the question.
Okay.
3 teams in Major League Baseball with an A to start their name. Go.
Los Angeles Angels, the Atlanta Braves. I mean, their name or their city or
Their name. Time.
Yes!
a hard
So
one.
he got 1. He got the Angels.
Wait, Greg in the comments says I don't think she even lets Adam kiss her
I mean,
still.
I said if I say
Oh, God.
Los Angeles Angels, that's already like 2 seconds. So there's no way you can
You
get
could have
5.
just said,
Oh, you
said
could.
Angels Athletics. I'm
Yeah,
talking about names.
I'll show you how
You
son.
put incomplete answers on a tangent.
Thank you.
I said
Thank
no.
you.
I said names. You gotta give me the full name.
Well, it's a team name.
That's
Yeah.
a team.
Listen, Peanut Gallery, let me show you how it's
Thank
done.
you, Jen.
Over here.
You see
Don't
the
worry.
complications I'm going through here. I'm trying to say Los Angeles Angels and that takes up the whole 5 seconds.
Just the name.
The answer was Angels, Athletics, and Astros.
See how easy that was?
Houston Astros, Oakland Athletics.
I talk crap. I'm so screwed.
All right, Adam. Elijah has 1 point.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
you have to say the whole name.
I'm gonna freeze so bad. I'm gonna brain fart. I know it.
All right, there's category 2, 3, and 4.
I'll go 3.
3. Clock starts as soon as I read the questions.
Start the clock.
1,
Did you
2.
ever watch that?
Name the last 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Go.
Tom Brady.
That's 5.
Time.
Ah!
The answers: Tom Brady, Nick Foles, and Julian Edelman.
I was close.
So we are tied with
It
1
was
point.
yeah. Technically, his name is Thomas Brady. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh my gosh.
Los Angeles Angels and Anaheim, sir, says Izzy. Oh, Greg, he said it live. I'm sorry, I was reading your comments. You shouldn't be inappropriate in your comments.
Elijah, category 2 or 4?
I'll go number 2.
Get it?
Hey,
I try to say
Big
that.
Ed.
Clock
I
starts.
tried.
Clock starts as soon as I read the question.
So just names has to be the full name.
Full
Like,
names.
if it's can you give me the topic so I can reiterate the rules with you?
New Mexico United.
Okay, so this is gonna be names.
Names.
God dang, man. Okay, go ahead.
Name the 3 New Mexico United players who scored this week.
Kavan Frater, Jay Bruce, I don't know his name, and Chris Weehan. I don't know what Bruce's first name is.
You got 2.
You got 2 out of 3. Daniel Bruce is his first name.
That was actually
I
solid.
think Jay Bruce is a baseball player.
Yes.
As he says. Go number 2.
Number 2.
And
Well, I'm still not gonna get
went
2 to
over-
tie.
Elijah got 3 points now total.
Number 3.
Jen Whale.
Adam, you need all 3 to win, 2 to tie.
And 1 to have a good outing.
All right, question. Clock starts.
Oh,
as
I
soon as
can't
I read it.
handle this. Wait, I don't get to pick a category?
No, you got the last one.
Well, which number was it?
It's
3.
This is number 4 now.
Okay, I want number 4.
This is
What's Bruce's name again?
Daniel Bruce.
Daniel.
Daniel Bruce. Okay.
World Cup.
Oh!
Name the last 3 men's World Cup champions.
France. Oh, no, that was
Time.
women's.
Yeah, you didn't specify. You could have said USA. You didn't say. Oh, you did say men. Did you?
Yeah, he said men's.
Men's
I
World
said
Cup.
France. I got 1.
Spain.
France, Spain, and Germany
Yeah.
was the
Because that
answer.
header from that dude.
Elijah wins the game with 3, and Adam wins. Or
Well, I like to
loses
see that
with
we
2
picked up where we left off.
The
last
tiebreaker.
season.
The tiebreaker. This one's just for fun. Name the last 3 NHL champions.
The Blues, the
Who cares?
Time.
was it Chicago? Did they go?
No, Blues, Capitals, and Penguins.
Oh, Capitals, because
Penguins.
Yeah.
So guys, that is 5-second rule. If you guys liked it, let
No,
us know.
John Span did not win a World Cup.
Span.
So you know.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm feeling generous today.
Final headlines, eh?
I'm feeling generous today. And since you guys tuned in for the first ever season 2 episode, we're going to give away an NFL goodie bag to one of you guys. So who's been commenting a lot? John?
I would say,
Yeah,
John has the most comments.
John, congratulations, sir. You are winning yourself an NFL goodie bag.
Yay!
So make sure that you message us on either.
Unfortunately, it's New York Jets. So.
Yay! It was on sale at the thrift store.
Yes, it was.
What? His last comment, though.
You guys are jerks. Ooh! That might take away your NFL goodie bag, sir.
Ooh.
Ouch, guys. Jan, should we give the man a goodie bag for calling us jerks?
I mean, he did comment the most.
And is he lying?
We are jerks. I mean, that's a
Okay, so
valid point.
John,
You want a goodie bag.
Message us on Facebook, your team, and we will.
His team.
Does he live here?
No, he lives in
He
Colorado.
said, just kidding, he wants his goodie bag.
Okay.
This is just kidding. Wait, this is inappropriately speaking on Adam's personal life for future goodie bags.
So John will win himself a trash bag with the New England on it. And
How about we give him a pump to like inflate some of those footballs?
But congratulations, John! You are going to win yourself an. And make sure that you.
Good job, sir.
Go on our Facebook. Give us a message on your address. That way
Or
I
text me.
Slide into our DMs.
Or I can. That way I can send it to your home address.
You know he's in our fantasy football league, so you could just put it on GroupMe.
Yeah. Slide into our DMs,
Hey.
John. They're open.
Alrighty, guys. Well, this is the time of the show where we have to unfortunately get going. But before we go, we do this every week. It's called Final Headlines. We give you something.
It's where we do final headlines.
So we give you guys a topic in sports or just in media in general, whatever that came to our mind. So we're going to start it off as we always do with Mr. Elijah Esquivel.
Well, I didn't really come prepared for this one, but I'm going to talk about baseball because we always really don't talk about baseball very much. And, we're past the halfway point, and we have a lot of front runners coming up now. Of course, I'm biased, but the Dodgers are the best team in baseball record-wise right now, trying to solidify their bullpen. But I think that right now there's really no team in the National League that I think can really give them a challenge. I do think that they're going to be going back to the World Series for a third time in a row. And then when it comes to the AL, that's going to be something fun to watch because you have Houston, who just picked up Zach Greinke, which is a huge pickup for them. He used to play for the Dodgers. I love Zach Greinke from the Diamondbacks. And then now you're going to have and then the Yankees are on a tear. Corey's Yankees. And so I think the Yankees-Houston is going to be fun to watch in the playoffs to see. And I think that the baseball gods and people are kind of hoping for a Dodgers-Yankees. It almost happened last year. Dodgers-Yankees World Series. And that would be very exciting. That would be a ratings juggernaut to see the two big market teams going at it. But
Yeah.
watch baseball. Dodgers are doing good. Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich going for the NL MVP right now. Stats are almost identical. It's pretty crazy. But
Yeah,
go Dodgers.
You know who fell very heavily for a long skid there, and they've kind of turned around and come back as the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I see them making a run. Izzy says, I highly recommend watching the Ric Flair 30 for 30.
Ooh, I like Ric Flair.
Woo!
All right, Adam.
Anyways, we're talking about soccer a little bit. I want to just something really cool, and I like the trend that I'm seeing. The Atlanta versus the LA Galaxy, the game that they just had, set the record for the highest attendance for an MLS game ever in the United States.
72,348.
Ooh,
I feel like you looked that up.
Stealing the stat. You just vultured his final.
Well, before the show, we just looked at this.
No, that's true.
Vulture.
No, but if you look, honestly, it's worth your time. Go on YouTube and look this up. You don't see this kind of enthusiasm in an NFL game. People bouncing, chanting, all of that is just a raucous crowd. It's unreal to see. It's at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium. And just unreal. MLS is up and coming. It's becoming the real deal in the U.S. And fingers crossed, it's up there competing with the NBA, with the NFL in the future because it's all sports. It's all good, and it's trending in the right direction. And I think continuing to pull in players like Ibrahimovic and play like even they had like Wayne Rooney was just there. Like a lot of these players brings that enthusiasm that you're seeing, and it's really increasing the just the exposure of MLS as a whole. So trending in the right direction.
And before Josh gets to his, for those who are watching like EPL and La Liga, check out Chelsea this year. Christian Pulisic is on Chelsea's team. Is that going to be your final headline?
No, I was just going to say that's my team. You're talking about my team.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, they lost Eden Hazard to Real Madrid, and now Christian Pulisic is going to be kind of their starting forward, and he's been they call him Captain America there, and I mean if you follow the Chelsea Twitter, they absolutely love this dude right now. He's been doing pretty good for preseason. Again, he's the best player on the United States team, and he's our future. So if we want to win a World Cup, I don't know how far how far off that is, but Pulisic is going to be he's our American Messi, right? He's the best player we have. So you get to see him on the big stage, and Chelsea's a big team. So watch him. You'll enjoy his play. He's really good.
Well, my final headline is going back to baseball. Me and Mr. Elijah Esquivel every year have a bet between the Freeway Series of the Los Angeles
And
Angels
that will do it for us.
and the Los Angeles
good stuff.
Dodgers. This man told me that we didn't stand a chance this year against his team. We pulled out the broom and we swept them in a 4-game series.
But only one of our teams is going to make the playoffs.
That's I don't care. That's our World Series knocking you guys and beating you guys up in 4 games. So Mr. Elijah Esquivel is going to be taking me to lunch.
Dollar menu.
I'm fine. As long as you're paying for it, we're
Free food
good.
is good food.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, but that's going to be my final headline. Just wanted to rub it in that Elijah got swept in our bet. So you guys got a bet that's going to happen this year. It's
Hey,
the Jets
those Dallas Cowgirls, they got to come all the way up to East Rutherford. They
New
got to
Jersey?
play the New York Jets.
New Jersey
I mean, we're
Jets.
rocking that. I mean, I know he doesn't want to. Don't want to shake a sign on the road. That's fine. I think we might have to. We'll come up with something. It'll definitely be vocalized on the show.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a bet, but
Maybe a show in a Jets
embarrassing
jersey.
myself.
I don't know. You might have to rock that Darnold.
Or a tutu.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that's
a
based.
tutu. I call that a Tuesday night. What are you guys talking about? It's nothing
Guys,
out of the ordinary.
Alrighty, guys, we're back in 3 weeks. We'll be giving away an NFL jersey if we hit 100 subscribers.
We're 4 away. Tell
We're
your friends.
4 away from hitting 100. We will be giving a jersey away on the show. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Also, there's a little notification bell on YouTube. Make sure that you guys click that because that will let you know every time that we go live.
And a big thing, guys, if you want to be entered in that drawing, you have to. What we do is we go into YouTube and it shows us who is following us. If you have your account set to private, we can't see your name that you follow us. So make sure you aren't set to private so we can see from our subscribers list. We're going to put a big pool full of that. We've given speakers away, things like that this way. Make sure you're not set to private. We're going to draw live on the show, and the winner gets an NFL jersey.
Can I subscribe and be part of the?
I mean, I've got 94 of my fake accounts subscribed right now. So.
But make sure you guys follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Go on Facebook, give us a like, on Instagram, give us a follow. We will be posting all sorts of stuff going around the NFL, NBA, anything that you guys want. We'll be more active on our social media. But as for me, I am Josh.
I'm Elijah.
And I'm Adam.
There you go. And we'll see you guys in 3 weeks. We're giving away an NFL jersey and talking NFC next time we are here. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. We'll see you guys in 3 weeks.
Go check out a United game.
Go Bears.